Even if you don't play board or card games very often, there are some familiar touchstones that, because of experiences we've all had, you know very well. If we sit down to play a game together and you hand me a piece of wood or plastic and you tell me that this is my piece, I know I'm going to be putting it on a board and moving it around. If you hand me a pair of dice, I know I'm going to roll them and I'm going to do something with the number that comes up. Deck of cards? Probably getting shuffled. Maybe everybody's going to get dealt a couple of them. Today I want to show you one of my favorite card games that takes one of the most prevalent and simple concepts in games and builds an entire experience out of flipping one tiny thing. In Hanabi, you and your friends are all artisan firework makers. And right before your tremendous display is about to start, you tip over the cart full of colored powders and rockets, and it's up to you to sort out this mess before the show begins. This is a cooperative game where you're all doing your best to sort these colored cards into columns by color and in order from 1 to 5. Rather than just winning or losing, the game will give you all a collective score at the end depending on how well you did. And it will tell you how well your fireworks display was received by the audience based on that score. Play begins in Hanabi with everyone being dealt a hand of cards. And on your turn, you choose to do one of 3 things. Play a card to the middle of the table, flip a clock token and give a piece of information to another player. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Or discard a card from your hand, removing it from the game, and flip a clock token face up, making it available again. Sounds simple, right? Well, as eagle-eyed viewers of the video may recall, in the intro I mentioned that this game takes a familiar convention and changes one tiny thing to create an entirely new experience. In Hanabi, when you pick up your hand of cards, you must face them away from you, and you cannot look at them. You have no idea what you are holding, and you can only see other people's hands of cards facing you. The cherry on top of this confusing cake? You are not allowed to tell people what cards they have. Instead, you can on your turn choose to spend one of these little clock tokens to give another player a piece of information about the cards they have in their hand. You can only tell another player about the number of a card in their hand or the color. Additionally, if you do choose to share a number or color that a player is holding, you must tell them every card they are holding that is that number or color. For example, a player could not tell me this card is red. They would have to tell me these cards are red. And so begins a puzzle of hints, deduction, tension, and finding new subtle ways to communicate with your friends. Trying to piece together what you can from the limited communication in this game begets a lot of internal monologuing. So Rachel just told me that this card is a 3. I've been holding this card for a while and no one bothered to tell me anything about it till now. And Sean played that green too right before her turn, so I bet that the 3 I have is green and she told me because it's safe to play it now. And then, on your turn, you feel the thrill and the terror that comes from saying, I'm gonna play this card! When in truth, you only really know half of the information about it. But you trust your team's choices, or at least what you think are your team's choices, and you go for it. And if you were right, people cheer. If you were wrong, you're one step closer to ending the game. These fuse tokens are spent every time you try and play a card that cannot be played, either because it's been played already, or there is no spot where it can be played. 3 fails, and boom, the game's over. This game invokes one of my favorite moments you can get while playing a game, which is looking around at your friends in the eyes, looking down at the table at what's going on, and then feeling the dread sink in as you think, how on earth are we gonna do this? This is a game for people who enjoy cooperative puzzles, deduction, and if you're my wife, finding sneaky ways to squeeze as much information into your clues as you can. I love showing this game to people who don't play a lot of board or card games because it's simple and appealing, and the novelty of this puzzle is fantastic. My only advice about this game is to go into it doing your best, but don't hold on to the idea of perfection too tightly. Achieving a perfect score in this game is highly, highly difficult and would take repeated plays with the same group establishing your own systems of communication. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to learn more about other awesome modern games, please consider subscribing to the channel. We do new videos every week. What are some of your favorite small box games? Leave a comment below and let me know. I love finding new, solid, tiny games that I can take anywhere. And should you choose to like this video, for the next 9 hours, your life will be non-diegetically narrated by none other than your favorite film actor. Think about it.